Hey everyone, Sarah here at Three Little Potters. I know it's been a while since I've done a kiln opening, but that is what we're doing today. I have been really busy. As popular as my pottery is, my wedding photography is also very popular. So I've been really doing a lot of back-to-back weddings over the last couple weeks and just no time for anything else. So in fact, I'm going to a wedding, which is why I'm dressed like this as soon as I finish this kiln opening. But we're gonna try to get through it. I've got a lot of new glazes in this kiln, so my ability to remember what they are is gonna be limited just because I've never seen them fired before. So check back on some of those glaze review videos if you want to see what some of those new glazes are. Yeah, and I've got a micro pearl surprise in here for a test that I'm doing. Yeah, there's a lot in here, so let's get started. When I opened the cover this morning, the first thing I saw was that Red Lotus again. Oh my goodness. Okay, and I stopped that glaze right here. That's Ancient Jasper all the way on the bottom because I know Ancient Jasper behaves itself. I don't know. I don't know about that glaze. I hate to think I've bought a glaze that can only fire at cone 5. Yeah, when I talked to Dante, he's getting a lot redder result, and I think he's got a cooler kiln than I do, and apparently my glaze schedule just causes that to run all over the place. Some other interesting things. Something crawled over here. All right, let's pellet. Okay, this is my dipped blue opal glaze, and I believe this one has Archie's base on the rim. New glaze for me, so. And this is blue opal, the mixed glaze with opal by Coyote on the rim. These are going to be hard to remember. Okay, so this is, if you remember the sample sheet from the Mayco sample pack of this year, there was one combo that looked promising that I hadn't done, and that is milk glass with cordovan over top. So this is 2 brush coats of milk glass, which still to my mind looks thin, and then 1 brush coat of cordovan over top. I think that looks pretty interesting, honestly. I don't know if this is a great angle. That's poppy fields over white with a little bit of light flux. I think I'm just gonna have to put Red Lotus in the timeout zone. I'm gonna have to come back to this glaze when I have more patience. Again, so much running. There's so much movement in this glaze. You just wouldn't think it. And this was a nice bowl. I thought I was fine with using Ancient Jasper to here, all Ancient Jasper. Not enough to stop Red Lotus. This one, I dropped this cup. I think I'd forgotten that I dropped this cup because it's been so long since I glazed it. So yeah, I accidentally dropped that cup a while ago. Okay, this was Studio White with a dip of June Purple. And this was Blue Opal with a little bit of variegated Dove Gray on the rim. And this was, I think, variegated Dove with, I believe that's Archie's base on it, but I've never seen Archie's base before, so it's gonna take a little bit to realize what that looks like when it's fired. Night, Floating Blue, and Snow, and that was my very last of that one. Well, not my very last. It was the only one in this kiln load. It was sort of a last ditch. Okay, this is River Birch with a little bit of Graple. I'm not sure if you can see that purple hint in there. Overnight. Really love Amaco's birch. Is it River Birch or Birch? You guys tell me. That glaze really works with everything. Okay, and this is Dove Gray, and I think it's got plum jelly on it, and I'm not sure why it's that color. We're learning. I think this is Ice Blue by Coyote. And this, I believe, is Blue Purple by Coyote. Speckled Grape over June Purple. Shipwreck over Dove Gray. This was Clayscapes Cream with the Grape and a little spot there, and I honestly think it's my fault because I see fully covered cream glaze under that edge. It's just, I think I might not have brushed that on well. We'll see. This is Green Tea over Studio White. A fleck of something on it. Okay, I believe this is Northern Lights over Studio White with some flux. I believe this is Blue Opal with Ice Blue on the rim. I know this is a lot this time to remember because I definitely, I think that's Blue Opal with Blue Purple from Coyote on the rim. There's so many new glazes in here, guys. And this was something, it's one of the lime glazes. It's a lime Jungle Gems glaze, and I'll check on that for you. Ooh, goodness gracious. Where'd that black spot come from? Oh, I know what it is. It's Poppy Fields over my Strontium Gloss with Manganese, and that's kind of like yucky looking, I think. Okay, note to self, not that combo. I think this is white with blue purple on it. It could be white with blue with opal. It's one of those new Archie's base glazes. This is June Purple with Archie's base. So some of these glazes are working together, just Raspberry Mist and Studio White. I'm gonna take out this half shelf here. I think that's always one of the hard things is like, you have to have a level of patience for disaster to really test out glazes. So I like to think I'm being helpful testing these so that maybe you won't have so many disasters as I do. Strontium Gloss, Dove Gray. Strontium Gloss, Dove Gray. Ooh, okay, so this was dipped in white. The outside is the Milk Glass with Cordovan combo. I wanted to see that on a vertical surface. I think it's interesting. I think it's, if you're looking at it, it's definitely another good use of Cordovan if you have that glaze sitting around. And I think here's the last sample I did with that. Milk Glass by itself, I think is really disappointing. You really need a good cover glaze with that. It's just too transparent for me, and just the undertones kind of underwhelming. I don't know. Variegated Dove, Raspberry Mist. But I definitely see that Milk Glass has some layering potential. My guess on that glaze is that it's more of like a clear glaze that has some strontium in it, so it's a little bit more reactive. So this was Waterfall Brown with cream on the rim. Looked pretty ugly. I put some Shipwreck over it. I have a new thing of Shipwreck. It seems a lot more liquid than my other Shipwreck, so mixed result. I like it. I like it a lot better than it was, but it's really hard to get enough glaze on a piece on a refire to really change it a lot. So that's that Dove and Raspberry Mist. I have some plain whites. I'm planning on doing some decals with the mini kiln. So those white ones are for that. Ooh, okay. This is Eggplant by Coyote with my Jade Stain in Kitten's Clear base. It's kind of interesting. It's definitely got some cool crystal patches toward the bottom there. June Purple and Raspberry Mist. These were just the plain strontium gloss. I'm wondering if I can do a feather decal on these. So I was kind of leaving those bare bones for that reason. Okay, well this was tangerine and I believe it had Archie's base over it. So really not seeing that cover glaze, just kind of went a little bit more pink onto the tangerine. So the speckled blues with a spot of white. It happens, it happens. Okay. This was just plain white over this, again, for a transfer. The clay was the Sheltoe, however. Chun Seafoam over Winter Wood. This was an attempt to fix the sage gloss dish that was so ugly before. It's still kind of, still not there. There may be no hope for that one. This is my night glaze with ivy. This was an underwhelming dish from last firing. It had the speckled blue and My Blue Heaven on it. I put some Nimbus on it. It definitely filled in the patches that were kind of blank, but it ran a little. I'll have to think on that one. That's June Purple with a little bit of cream on the rim. Strontium Gloss with a Rogue Black spot. And this, I believe, is Rhubarb and Winter Wood with a shell pink on the inside. June Purple and Raspberry Mist on Sheltoe. Gosh, they still don't have more of that clay in stock at the store, so I'm still waiting. Night and River Birch. This is Oyster in Green Tea. A little underwhelming. And this was based off the sample page that Mayco puts out, so I was hoping for something a little bit more exciting from that combination. Really not getting a result that looked like what they got, so whatever this was, it's a hot mess. Oh goodness, I don't know. Put it in the refire zone. Put it over there. This was Opal by Coyote. A little underwhelming on that one. Papaya by Coyote over white. Wow, it's certainly not living up to the Spectrum's papaya. It's a kind of nice light orangish color though. Dove and Raspberry Mist. I feel like there's a lot in this kiln. Aurora Breeze over Studio White. I had some questions. People were like, hey, I wonder how Aurora Breeze is going to sell. Aurora Breeze sold well, so who knew? I was bothered by that sort of extra speckly look to it, but buyers didn't seem to mind it, so that's Night and Ivy. Tove. Strontium Gloss with cream on the rim. And this, I believe, is Coyote's Blue Purple with a little bit of light flux on the rim over Studio White. So far, really liking the look of that glaze. I think this is Plum Jelly over Studio White, and where the flux hit it, it went sort of a bluish color. So interesting. And yes, I saw the white spot. I know, refire. The speckled blues over white. We're almost down to this end of this shelf at least. Gray and Raspberry Mist. That is a Dove Gray with Strontium Gloss on the rim. And that is just white over Sheltoe, and that is for a transfer. Some interesting things on this shelf. Loving that bowl and that bowl. Wow. Pretty. So if anyone remembers back to my last kiln opening, I had said I was going to do a review of oyster glaze, and I still am. I felt like all of my results were just a little bit underwhelming, and I didn't have any like wow pieces that said, hey, this glaze is kind of cool. So this was my attempt at having something that was a little bit more interesting to show with oyster. So this is oyster and winter wood with a tiny bit of green tea and some flux. I feel like that combo just needed some flux to really give it a little more gloss and a little bit more to it. So yeah, one more piece for that review video. Oh. Okay, so this is shallot and purple aster and dirty snow. It's really pretty. Sorry, I'm gazing into the center. Yeah, I think that looks really pretty. I'm happy with the bowls. Yay. Ooh, happy with this too. Wish it didn't run. Green jasper over June purple. I don't know if you can see those subtle hints of green in there. All right, so this was a refire, and it's largely fixed. I believe it was autumn purple on night, and then I put a lot of ice blue by Coyote on there. It looks pretty good. I was fixing some pinholes on this one. This was originally June purple and kimchi, and then I did put the ice blue here as well. It seems to have melted together, so that seems good. What is going on here? I believe this is ivy over white with Bermuda on the inside. It just somehow the glazes all look kind of the same color on that one. And I believe this is jade and ivy over white. A little surprise there too. I'm not sure what I was going for. I think I was thinking I was going to put a cactus decal on that. We'll see. June purple, and it had some glaze flaws originally. It was June purple with a little bit of white. I put a little bit of shipwreck. Again, you can see my shipwreck is, I think I'm going to have to leave the cover off that one, let it dehydrate a little bit. But yeah, it looks like the flaws are fixed, but just not really showing that addition of the shipwreck at all. Whoa. I like this one. Okay. Archie's base over Winterwood doing some really cool things. Yeah, it's got like some streaky pinkness going on there. That's interesting. I did have a teeny bit of dirty snow on the rim of this too. Again, June purple with green jasper. I like that combo. I think green jasper was really a good glaze out of that sample pack. Okay, some whites. I think I'm probably going to do feather transfers or cactuses on some little dishes. And this was the, yeah, it was underglaze with clear over it, and then I've tried to add some Archies to make it a little bit more, it didn't really, it's still kind of just spotted in a way. Chun Seafoam and Winter Wood. That's what one layer of Chun Seafoam I think looks like on that. Could have gone with two, but that had been sitting on my shelf and I wasn't even sure what it was, so. Shipwreck and Archie's base on white. I think. So it's either ice blue, I think it is, and I think it's 3 brushed coats of ice blue. Yeah. Yeah, 3 brushed coats of ice blue by Coyote. Tiny bit of dirty snow on that rim too, I'm pretty sure. This was the accidental plain Bermuda dish. I tried to add something to it, either Archie's base or opal, and both of them seem to have, either of those seem to do basically nothing except make it craze. Super. So, yeah. This dish I tried to fix with a little bit of eggplant added to it. It was night and textured burgundy, and I believe I added eggplant. Poppy field over my tangerine glaze, sort of inspired by Unseth, but I think I'll probably do what she does, and where the poppy fields is, have that be either over white or by itself rather than over the tangerine. While it didn't crawl, it kind of lost the white base of that glaze and just looks a little bit, I don't know, the black spots don't look as much as they're part of a flower. They look more like a mistake, I think. So yeah, we'll fix that. I think this is rhubarb over tangerine. Some of these Coyote Archie Bases glazes look like they're not great over others. I think this is ivy over white. And this was rose quartz refire. It had a couple of pinholes, and I think it was just not hot enough on the last kiln. It looks okay now. I think it's Coyote red gold. We'll just put that in the refire pile. What was that? I was expecting something amazing and it's not. Storm with blue purple. That is a June purple with, I think it was cream on the rim. It doesn't really show. This just looks like black. It's got another one of those Archies on it that doesn't come out apparently. It seems like those don't have a ton of pigment to them. I think this is red gold by Coyote on white. And I think this is red gold on night. Nimbus over white. And this is ivy over white, and somehow I have a dribble of something else. A little spotty here, dove with blue purple, I think. Not quite ideal. Another attempt at fixing sage gloss with shipwreck, still kind of not enough color to really outweigh that. So this is night with magenta sky. Some pretty things in this shelf. Loving the big bowls. That looks really cool. All right, it looks like I am running out of time here. I'm gonna pull a few more things, but then I am going to have to break, and I will see you again on a different day to finish this kiln unload. All right, and this is Fuzzy Peach and Sand and Sea. So pretty. Love it. Love the Spectrum floating glazes over texture, and just really, if you can see it, I don't know, it's kind of more unicorny, iridescent in person, that one. Pretty. Oh, that ran. This was a refire. Wow. Well, The pinhole in the middle's fixed, but now I have this new problem. Oh. All right. So this is a different combo. So I have green tea on the texture. I have river birch over the whole thing. And then I have 2 brush coats of magenta sky by Coyote. And I have a little bit of dirty snow on that rim. So a lot going on. Sometimes I'm too skimpy with the glazes, so. And this is magenta sky over white with dirty snow. Rhubarb and Bermuda on the inside. Rhubarb is a new glaze for me, so really not sure what's going to happen with that. My Blue Heaven and dirty snow on that rim over Studio White. This is Lavender Mist over Studio White with a little bit of magenta sky on the rim. I don't know why this purple cup ran so far, but indeed it did. Indeed it did. I think it had a little bit of shipwreck on it, and I'm not sure. I guess a little bit of shipwreck and a little bit of flux, and that ended up on the ground. Purple aster over white. Yeah, poppy fields on the tangerine, and it really really just ate the color from between those dots. Fuzzy peach again with sand and sea. A little bit lighter application than the bowl, but really pretty. So just kind of interesting. I don't even get to finish the shelf. Bye everyone. All right, let's finish this kiln opening. I pulled the mini bud vases out last night when I got home late, and here they are. These are, and I don't even know which ones are which yet. I'm going to have to go through. These are Jungle Gems glazes fired to cone 6. These are 12 different Jungle Gems glazes, and many of them look very similar. So those blues, this one, this one, this one, this one, all look like they could be almost the same glaze. I think the color burns out at a certain temperature, so those Jungle Gems vases will be part of a Jungle Gems Cone 6 review, at least of those 12 colors that I'm doing, hopefully later this week if I have time. So I also peeked at the last shelf last night. I haven't pulled it out yet, but I looked enough to know that I am so happy with this last shelf. So this is a video I'm working on micro pearl. Somebody asked me about layering combos with micro pearl, and I kind of brushed it off because I like micro pearl so much by itself that I haven't really dug into it. But yes, this is a lot of micro pearl. And what I also did was I bought the huge dipping glaze of micro pearl, and then I have the brushed so that I can finally answer the question of, do commercial glazes crawl when you dip first and then brush on another commercial glaze over top, or is that okay? So I've done sort of a half and half of micro pearl dipped, half of micro pearl brushed. So that video will be later as well, but I'm going to pull out the results now, so it's kind of a sneak peek here. Okay, so this is micro pearl and lavender mist. And you know, I'm not sure if you could see how crystally and pretty that micro pearl gets there. But yeah, just a planter with that. I do have a little spot where I think that's probably my brushing being a little close to the edge there, not wiped back enough. So, but it's an easy one to grind off. And some of these I'm not positive I'm going to remember, but this is a test on whether underglaze will show under micro pearl. And I know a few people had been asking about that. And I am really amazed at how much this underglaze showed under micro pearl. So this is indigo Amaco velvet underglaze. Just really surprising to me and really interesting. And I believe this is I think I dipped this one, honestly. Most of my other ones are brushed when it's the larger piece, but this is, I believe, a dip of micro pearl. So shocking. I kept finding that question on other sort of micro pearl forums, like, hey, what happens if you put this over? Is it transparent enough for something to come through? And I honestly thought the answer would be no. It seems like a fairly opaque glaze to me, but nope. Okay, so this is micro pearl and green tea layered. Just some really cool subtle variations here that I wasn't expecting. Really shiny, perfect surface. So happy with that. I am not positive what this one is. It is micro pearl layered with another commercial glaze. Yeah, I think it's, I don't want to guess. I'll leave that for the micro pearl video. But yeah, there's some really just like spots where the micro pearl sort of comes through with these crystals. I do think it's magenta sky, maybe. I had to think about that one for a second. Okay, so this is micro pearl and ivy. This is what I saw on the Mayco Color sample page, and I thought that one was really, so I don't know if you can see in here, it's just like a pile of really gorgeous crystals in that dish catch right here. So, you know, in a bowl, this combo is going to be really great. So this is micro pearl with a jungle gems. Not positive which one it is. I think it was one of the purple ones, and am surprised that it is blue. So these jungle gem glazes seem a lot less color stable at cone 6 than they do at the lower temperatures. So something to keep in mind if you're working with those. I believe this is plum jelly. I'm sorry, it's not. Look at it. It's purple aster over micro pearl. I know, that bottom kiln shelf is dirty. It's not the fault of the glaze, though. I think this is micro pearl and ivy again. And just, well, disregard the dirt spot on it, but just if you can see where this edge is, the micro pearl is just, I feel like doing a thinner top coat over the micro pearl is just amazing. Some really interesting variation on that edge, and I definitely want to do it on a larger piece. So this was ivy over a dip of micro pearl. So yes, I was kind of expecting this to be all over the shelf, and it's not. Yeah, this is just sunrise over white. And this is another micro pearl, and I think this is Ice Blue by Coyote over micro pearl. And do double check me. If you want absolutes, go look at the micro pearl video when I post that. Yeah, it's micro pearl, and I'm not positive. Do we think it's just a really thick coat of ivy and that's why it's a darker color? Maybe. So I think this is Lavender Mist over micro pearl, and this is a dipped version, and obviously I didn't wipe that back enough. So and brushed, dipped, sort of very similar results, neither crawled. Ancient jasper over micro pearl. You can see those crystals on the bottom. Yeah, and some really interesting sort of just variation on the, it's definitely subtle, but it's unique, I think, to some of my other combos. Ivy over white. Sorry, I'm running out of space over there. And this is just a micro pearl, 3 brushed coats here. Sort of our control, and I think the control I had done with the dipped micro pearl looks like I probably put something over it because I don't see it in here. So this is the one that ran, and it doesn't look like it crawled. It just looks like I put something on it that was very, very fluid, and I'm not sure exactly what that is. You can obviously see that we've got micro pearl on the inside, and then, so that'll be in the video. Whatever I did just turned it white and went crazy. So some subtle yellow here, and just really nice accented with that blue of the micro pearl. And I am definitely seeing a little more of that blue in the mixed big glaze that I did of it. So I'm not sure what that's coming from, but subtle variations here. And a really smooth gloss surface, really, I don't know if that's coming across, but no pinholes, nothing. It looks very, very flawless. This could be micro pearl and ice blue. Let that one be a surprise for later. Could be fuzzy peach. Luckily, I have filmed myself glazing all of these pieces so that we will know in the end what they are. Sunrise over micro pearl. And again, just going with that blue crystal along the edge. That's just really, and this is the same glaze. This is over white and this is over micro pearl. So I believe this is Coyote's Amethyst over micro pearl. I think. It's yeah, I know the form is a little bit hard to see some of that subtle variation on, but it's, yeah, it's just, and I wish I had cleaned my kiln shelf better. Those are easy to sort of smooth off. So this looks like, I think this is a thickness issue on this one. You can see a little spot where it possibly crawled on micro pearl, but honestly, it also looks like it just kind of has that look of when you've done too many coats and you get sort of the thickness bubbling pinhole-y sort of situation in the middle. So this may be that, but yeah, I don't think that glaze liked it as well. I do think that is Coyote's Amethyst over micro pearl. Seaweed over white. A few different things mixed in here. Speckled plum over white. Amethyst over white. Nowhere to set things. Or was this sunrise over micro pearl? It is just so amazing in the middle. I don't know if that's coming across, but I love these like crystal variations here. I believe this is gunmetal green. Ivy over cream. That's Clayscapes cream. And so this is another surprise one for me. I believe this is Coyote's red gold over my night glaze. And obviously I'll be testing that a lot more to verify that result, because that looks just amazing, and more amazing in person. I know we're getting a glare on it, but yeah. And then our last piece here is amethyst and white. Oh, I do have one more. It didn't come out very good though. I'll show it anyway. Okay, so this was a test, and it was a test that didn't work, but that's okay. I wanted to put some gold luster on this and possibly some decals. It was supposed to look different than this. I'll leave it at that. I'll still do something cool with it. It's still a nice shaped vase. I just was hoping for something really cool, and that didn't happen. But it's a technique I'm working on, and hopefully I will get better at. There's that red gold. I don't know if we can see it better here. Just some of these bowls, I think, were a really strong part of this kiln opening. I really liked these combos. They were new combos. They were exciting. And just learning that micro pearl is such an amazing layering glaze makes me so happy. I spent all that money on it, so really happy to kind of experiment some more with that. Thanks for watching, everyone. I know this was a long gap between videos, and thank you for not unfollowing me and continuing to watch my videos. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and hopefully I'll be able to keep up with my schedule a little bit better in the future weeks. So have a great day, everyone.